Greetings, my name is Bryson Finney. I am a music educator, a program coordinator, and also a technology specialist for Nashville schools here in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm excited to join the CMA Foundation's Unified Voices for Music Education initiative as their music technology instructional lead. We all know that last year left us with a gap in instruction and also in quality time spent with our students. So I want to share with you a lesson idea over these next few minutes focused around introducing the topic of music technology. Now, this lesson could be geared towards middle school age students, or if you teach high school age students, but beginners to the content of music technology. Feel free to take whatever you want from this lesson and make it your own as you begin to plan instruction for this upcoming school year. So let's get started. All right, so here's our music technology introductory lesson. So we're answering the question, what is music technology? Great lesson to use at the beginning of the year. And I want to give credit to Mr. Heath Jones. He's the music technology 6th through 8th grade lead teacher in Gwinnett County in Georgia. He has created a wealth of music technology lessons that are being used statewide in Georgia. And his contact information will be in this presentation later. Feel free to take note of that. He's an excellent resource. Okay. I will say as we dive into this lesson, I have broken up the lesson into 3 sessions. You can implement this lesson however you see fit. So you could see the content and be like, I want to deliver this in 1 session or maybe 2. Totally up to you. You're the educator. Okay, but let's dive in. So the targeted learners are high school or middle school, okay, or really any student who's brand new to the content of music technology. Now, we are still gearing it towards middle and high, but any student middle and high that is completely brand new to this content, of course, you would adapt this for your learners based on their age and experience, okay? The delivery method. This lesson can be delivered online or in person. And to dive a little deeper into that, it could be delivered in a synchronous environment. So everyone's learning together online or in person. And I also see room for this to be delivered maybe in an asynchronous environment. So maybe as a teacher, you've delivered a portion of the content that students have a task they must complete on their own time and then deliver that back to you. So however you see fit, but let's keep going. Our outcomes, understanding musicians and students connect their personal interests, experiences, ideas, and knowledge to creating, performing, and responding to music, of course. Technical focus, students will use digital media and resources to explore and gather information about music and technology. They will create a slideshow. I love this part. They're going to create a presentation to share what they've learned with their peers and with their teacher. This could be shared through your school's LMS, your learning management system, Schoology, Google Classroom, or maybe Blackboard, or maybe just through email at the teacher's preference, okay? I love how this lesson has a concrete deliverable. So, and we'll look at that too, okay? Let's roll. Materials. As a student, what do I need? You need to have access to a computer, okay? We would love for you to have access to a digital audio workstation, a DAW, so that could be Soundtrap, which is online based. It could be GarageBand, but it's up to you as the teacher. It would be great if students have access to one for this lesson. If not, it's definitely still possible, okay? A web browser, you need access to the internet, and then a couple links that you'll use within this lesson as a student. And then, of course, you need access to some type of presentation software. So it could be within the Google Suite or Office 365 in Microsoft. Teacher, same deal. We got some video links for you that we'll share, and they're dropped in here. If you're in person, you'll need to project, but you need the same stuff, okay? As you can see in here. But access to PowerPoint, of course, and the content that is included in this lesson and should be available to you when you search for this lesson on our CMA Foundation website. All right, so let's look at session 1. So remember, I told you that we've broken this lesson up into 3 sessions. You can do it in 3, you can do it in 2, or you can do everything in 1 session. It's completely dependent upon your schedule and your preference. In session 1, I like to nickname this Discover. So in this session, we are discovering what music technology is. There's a video we're going to watch called the Music Technology Introduction, and then we're going to discuss this video. So let's take a sneak peek at what this video is. So I'm going to go out of this presentation really quick, and I'm going to go into my browser, and then let's make this big.
In part 1 of this series, we explored just a few intersections that music and technology have shared throughout human history. And we clarified that the term music technology does not only apply to electronic devices. In this video, we will explore music and sound production technologies and how some industry professionals utilize them. Today, in the early 21st century, the term music technology is most commonly associated with music production technologies that are utilized in the recording arts.
All right, and we'll stop the video right there, but an excellent video, a great way to introduce the concept of music technology to your learners, especially for those who are new to this content area, okay? So after the video is completed, great idea to discuss what students have seen, maybe some takeaways from the video, and have a discussion around those takeaways. Allow students to explore their DAW. So we're going to introduce students to what a DAW is, what a digital audio workstation is. They've seen it in the video. What is it? Especially for those that are brand new to a DAW or music technology at all. And then introduce them to what a MIDI keyboard is and what it can do. And so if your students have access to both, why don't you allow them for the next, you can definitely give them some type of time frame, but let them explore some sounds that can be created by connecting that MIDI keyboard to their workstation and exploring the sounds that can be created and made. Before the end of the class is over, it's important for you to discuss the desired outcome for this whole lesson. So let's talk about this presentation students are going to deliver. Now, it could be done individually, or it could be a presentation that is delivered in groups. So maybe students are in groups and they're delivering this presentation, but let's look and see what it is. So this is what we're sharing with students. The very first slide says, "What is music technology? Use this template to create a slideshow summarizing what you have learned in this unit." So this is simply a template, but by the end of this lesson, by the end of the 3 days or 2 days or this 1 day, and you can go in and edit what you want inside of here, but students would have access to the web browser and could complete these questions and this slideshow the best to their ability. Of course, if they want to add images, some of the slides are asking for images and so on and so forth. But again, as the teacher, when you get this template, you can edit it to your liking based on your learners and then make sure it's available for them. Okay? All right, let's go back to our presentation. All right, we are now to session 2. So we've already talked about session 1. We looked at Discover. Or session 1, we are on to Create. This is session 2. I like to nickname this session Create. So we're going to look at the history of the music industry, okay? And then we're going to have a discussion around the human need to create and share with others, which is an interesting discussion to have with high schoolers and middle schoolers, all around social media, and then we can get very deep into that. And we'll talk about that in a second. And then the next 2 points. But first, let's go ahead and see what this first video is about. The history of the music industry. So let's go out of this. We're going to navigate our way back to the browser. And so notice how I have these videos already pulled up. They're ready to rock. So a great video to lead your discussion into, let's get back to our presentation. All right, this discussion question. So let's look at or discuss the human need to create and share with others. So a great way to dive into this would be from the video, or let's start from thinking about social media. So when you share on Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or TikTok, when you share, and a lot of what you share involves music, why do you choose the music you choose? How do you know it's shareable? What makes it shareable? When you do it over and over again, why do you keep re-recording until you think it's perfect? What does shareable mean? And I've recorded this video several times, so I could answer that. But just a great discussion around the human need to create and share with others. Okay, why do you want to create and why do you want to share it? What are you looking for? All right. There's so many angles you can go and so many angles you can take with that discussion. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go dive into these two pretty cool websites, and you can pick one or the other or both, or give your students voice and choice and they can pick. But make sure you demo them first and demo them in a way that catches their attention. Like make sure you've already had something stirred up, and then all you have to do is hit play, like what I'm about to do now. So I've already dove in here and I've played around a bit. So the first one is Incredibox. So remember, we just talked about the human need to create and share. So these are two websites where it makes it really easy to create something that you like. But it's also going to take a little bit of skill and attention, time, and dedication to make sure it's what you want it to sound like. So I'm going to hit play. I'm on Incredibox, and I've just muted all my guys here, but I'm going to turn them on slowly. So of course you could, as a teacher, I know your brain's probably already thinking there's definitely a way I could take this and the ideas and what I'm doing when I did this and what's going on. There's so many ways I can relate that to what's going on in a digital audio workstation and when I'm creating a track or when I'm creating several, or just relating it to what you would do in a music technology classroom. All right, so here's Groove Pizza. And I think on my presentation, I called this Groovy Pizza. So I guess it is kind of groovy. So I guess the name works. But this is Groove Pizza. So it's another platform for students to create, right? So basically you have this design here that looks like a pizza, and it's also housing the structure and the organization of what I'm hearing. Okay, so basically students are going to use this platform as a vehicle to create what they need to create, which is music. Okay, we have some type of organization here because music is just organized sound. What are the patterns down here? So let's hit play and see what's happening. Actually, I'm going to delete some of this and just see what happens. Let's hear it. I'll take that off. I don't like that already. Trial and error, right? Just have fun with it. So just allow them to get up here and explore. A lot of times we don't learn until we make the mistake. Okay, we don't learn until we try it and know what we don't want. Then we know what we do want. Okay, so let's let them get up here and have some fun. All right, so this is Groove Pizza, and it will be linked for you as well within this lesson plan. But both of these Incredibox that we were just in, and they can go back and change the person if they want. There's other people they can choose from. All right, as that's coming up. And then there's also, there we go. And there's Groove Pizza. Okay, so let's go back to the lesson and see what we have next. So this is session 2. We're creating, we've explored Groovy Pizza and Incredibox sites. Now allow your students to create, record, and share. They're going to their digital audio workstation, their DAW, whether it's Soundtrap, GarageBand, Logic, whatever it is. Let them go to their DAW now, and you can provide some type of guidelines for them. I need you to make a 16-bar track and I need there to be 3 tracks. And I need you to you're only going to use loops. So if we're in GarageBand, you're only using the Apple loops that are available to you. Okay. And so they've had some time to explore those. Okay, so give them time to explore those and then allow them some time, or they're using their MIDI controller. So whatever you want to do there. But give them a chance to create, record, and then now they're going to share that with you and also share that with their peers. Okay, so that's up to you as a teacher. We're on to session 3. Session 1, we were discovering. Session 2, we created. Session 3, it's time to share because we have a presentation, a deliverable that we have to finish up. Okay. All right. The first bullet point in session 3. So we're going to review music's role in human history, culture, and society, and how technological innovation has brought society to current music making and sharing practices, what we see going on today. Okay. So kind of tiptoeing back into that discussion we had during session 2, just reviewing and getting our minds back in that vein. All right. And then we're going to head over to the browser to watch our video, Science vs. Music. So let's do that very thing now and see what this video is all about. So please make sure you watch that entire video before you share that with your students, just so you have a heads up around what the video is about. Okay, and what they're going to see before they see it. But allow that video to stir this next discussion, spark it. So we're going to discuss key elements in musical technology, some key elements in music technology, music's influence in society, how has music influenced society and culture throughout our history. Okay, now it's time for students to move on to that presentation that we delivered to them on day 1. So this presentation is going to basically be their deliverable. That's what we've discussed before. So they're going to use it with the knowledge that they've gained from day 1 and day 2 and day 3 in our discussions. So I really want to drive that home. The discussion part is really important. Yeah, we're showing some great content, and as a teacher, we've already seen the videos and we've prepared ourselves for the lesson. But there's a lot of great knowledge that comes from the minds that are in our room and the experiences they've had. And you just never know what students bring to your classroom. So those discussions can be really powerful. All right, but students will create a slideshow presentation based on the provided template that you provided for them to summarize and share their learning. Okay, so now we can give them the rest of the class period, or maybe give them up to the end of the class period to work in groups or by themselves to go ahead and take what they've learned over these past 3 sessions and complete this presentation. They are going to need to access the internet because there are some questions where they're going to pull, they're going to need to search and pull some images and names, okay, and some content off the internet, okay? When finished with their slideshow, students will share with the teacher and with their peers. Let's go ahead to the next slide. So there's some special considerations here. So if you've had some thoughts, maybe this slide will answer some of those lingering thoughts you've had. What about, how do I make this more rigorous for some of my advanced learners? And maybe even the thought of, they're pulling pictures, but what about copyright? So copyright would be a great way for you to bring in, maybe connecting your librarian at your school, or maybe pick their brain around what can I say around copyright? If my students I'm asking them to bring in pictures, how can I talk about copyright without them infringing that or breaking that law? We don't want to do that. And bringing these random pictures onto their presentation. So maybe showing them how to search in Google, safe search, or search only images where you can use them and modify them. Okay, there's ways to do that. Okay, let's keep going. So increase rigor. So advanced students could be guided to dig a little bit deeper by researching artists' performances, performers, and production exemplars to include in their slideshows. So we could be talking about images or videos or audio, okay, for them to add. How do I adapt this assignment for my younger learners, or maybe the students that are struggling a bit? So of course, teacher could adjust learning goals according to the student's needs. Strategies may involve scaffolding by limiting choices, peer mentoring, one-on-one, maybe group, okay, and maybe the way you create your groups, or maybe just limiting, like it said here, limiting the choices, and I'm just kind of adjusting the lesson a bit for your learners. All right, and before I left this special considerations page, I want to make sure I highlight the originator of this lesson, Mr. Heath Jones. There is his email address right here with the red squiggly, okay? Just in case you want to make note of that. Awesome lesson. All right. Thank you, Mr. Heath Jones. Okay. We're going to go ahead and move to the very last slide in this presentation and this lesson, and then we're all done. Okay. So the national standards. So as you can tell, this lesson is dancing around the connect branch per se. So definitely demonstrate understanding of relationships between music and other arts, other disciplines, varied contexts, and daily life. And then this next strand, demonstrate how interests, knowledge, and skills relate to personal choices and intent when creating, performing, and responding to music. And lastly, definitely because of day one, generate melodic, and also day two, we had a lot of creating, generate melodic, rhythmic, and harmonic ideas for compositions or improvisations using digital tools. So we didn't use a lot of other systems, but we definitely used digital tools to explore and create some melodic, rhythmic, and even harmonic ideas on day one when we explored, but intentionally on day two when we created. Okay. So I hope that you've enjoyed this lesson. Remember, this lesson is more of an introductory lesson to music technology. So great to use on that day one, maybe day two and day three with your students, with your brand new students, and especially with students who are new to the content of music technology. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you've heard something and gained some ideas that you can use when you get back in your classroom. Thank you.